Welcome back to my channel. The coin spot today is best top 2 coins 1. You want to miss we're diving into the world of United States coins? Please don't skip this video, so let's get it started. The 1968 Liberty Quarter, $1 of the United States of America. Including its historical background, physical characteristics, design elements, and numismatic value, all written in comprehensive, long-form paragraphs for thorough understanding, historical context, and background. 1968 United States Quarter. Dollar, commonly referred to as the 1968 Washington Quarter, is a part of the Washington Quarter series that began in 1932. This coin was introduced to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and its popularity and wide circulation have made it one of the most recognizable U.S. coins. By 1968, U.S. Mint had undergone significant changes in coinage due to rising silver prices and economic pressures. Notably, the $quarter coin, issued in 1968, was struck in a copper-nickel clad composition rather than the traditional 90% silver used in earlier years. This transition was part of a broader move across multiple denominations, initiated by the Coinage Act of 1965 to remove silver from circulating coins. Therefore, the 1968 quarter represents a period of transformation in U.S. numismatics, both economically and technologically. Physical composition and specifications. 1968 Washington Quarter was produced in 3 main U.S. Mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. It has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a thickness of 1.75 millimeters, and weighs approximately 5.67 grams. Unlike pre-1965 quarters, which were composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, the 1968 quarter is made of a copper-nickel clad, consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a core of pure copper. This clad composition gives the coin a silvery appearance, though it has no intrinsic silver value unless it is a special proof coin. The San Francisco Mint in 1968 produced proof coins intended for collectors, and some of these were struck in higher quality with a mirrored finish, although they were still made of clad metal. Not silver design and artistic elements. The obverse of the 1968 quarter continues to feature the classic profile of George Washington. It's designed by John Flanagan, based on a bust created by John Antoine Udong. The inscriptions on the obverse include the word Liberty across the top, "In God We Trust" to the left below Washington's chin, on the date 1968 at the bottom. If the coin has a mint mark, it appears just to the right of Washington's ponytail. The reverse of the coin depicts a stylized American bald eagle with wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows with 2 olive branches beneath it. This imagery symbolizes the dual readiness for war and the desire for peace. Above the eagle is the phrase United States of America, with E pluribus unum just beneath it. And $quarter below, the overall design reflects strong nationalistic and symbolic themes, reinforcing America's ideals and identity during a turbulent era in the 1960s production. Numbers and mint locations. The U.S. Mint produced millions of Washington quarters in 1968 across its 3 mint facilities. The Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at the time, produced over 220 million coins. The Denver Mint, marked with a D, struck more than 101 million coins. The San Francisco Mint, with the S Mint mark, primarily focused on proof sets and collector issues, producing approximately 3 million proof coins that year. Notably, in 1968, the U.S. Mint resumed using mint marks on coins after suspending them for a few years, starting in 1965, to discourage coin hoarding during the emit-silver transition. Thus, the 1968 coins marked a return to mint identification, which is of particular interest to collectors. Collector value and numismatic significance in circulated condition. The 1968 quarter is generally worth its face value of 25 cents, given its high mintage and lack of precious metal content. However, certain coins, particularly those in mint state condition or those with proof or deep cameo finishes, can be worth more to collectors. For instance, an MS-65 or higher grade quarter from 1968 can fetch $5 to $20 depending on market demand and grading service. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint can be worth $4 to $15. And those with a strong cameo effect may command higher prices. Errors and varieties such as off-center strikes, double dies, or misplaced mint marks can significantly increase a coin's value depending on the rarity and condition of the error. Collectors also look for sharp details, luster, and the absence of contact marks when evaluating the value of individual coins. Top to the 1965 Liberty quarter dollar covering its historical background. Design, composition, minting, collector value, and availability in stores and markets. This is crafted in long paragraphs for deep, detailed reading and understanding historical context and the transition from silver to clad. Coinage: the 1965 United States quarter dollar, officially known as the Washington quarter, marks one of the most important turning points in American numismatic history. This was the first year the quarter was struck without silver, ending over 170 years of tradition in U.S. coinage that used precious metals in circulating coins. The change came in response to a severe coin shortage and rising silver prices in the early 1960s. The Coinage Act of 1965 was passed by Congress and signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson, authorized the U.S. Mint to eliminate silver from the dime and quarter, and to reduce the silver content in the half dollar. This act ushered in the clad coinage era, where coins were composed of a copper core bonded with copper-nickel layer. The public initially reacted with skepticism, as many people hoarded pre-1965 silver coins, believing the new clad coins were of lesser value. However, the new quarters proved practical, long-lasting, and efficient for mass production, and they remain the standard composition to this day design. A continued tribute to George Washington, the design of the 1965 quarter remains consistent with previous years in the Washington Quarter series, which began in 1932. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan, whose initials can be found near the base of Washington's neck. The portrait was modeled after a bust by French neoclassical sculptor Jean-Antoine Houdon, created in the late 18th century. Liberty at the top, "In God We Trust" on the lower left of the portrait, and the date 1965 centered at the bottom. The reverse of the coin features a majestic American bald eagle with outstretched wings. On a bundle of arrows, a symbol of strength and military readiness with two olive branches underneath, signifying a desire for peace above the eagle. The words "United States of America" are arched, followed by the national motto, "E pluribus unum." Just beneath, the words "quarter dollar" are inscribed along the bottom. This reverse design, also created by Flanagan, emphasizes American strength, heritage, and unity, and remained in use until 1998. Physical specifications and composition. The 1965 quarter represents the first official year of the clad composition quarter. Unlike earlier quarters made of 90% silver and 10% copper, the 1965 version consists of a sandwich-style clad structure, an inner core of pure copper, surrounded by two outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This gives the coin a silvery color similar to that of older silver quarters, but without the intrinsic bullion value. The coin has a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, a thickness of 1.75 millimeters, and weighs approximately 5.67 grams over time. The copper core may become visible on the edges of well-circulated coins, often appearing as a faint red or brown line. Unlike the quarters of earlier and later years, the 1965 quarter does not have a mint mark. The U.S. Mint removed mint marks between 1965 and 1967 to discourage hoarding during the coin transition. All 1965 quarters were struck without mint marks, whether they came from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Production and circulation. The U.S. Mint produced the 1965 quarter in enormous quantities, striking over 1.8 billion coins to address the coin shortage and ensure a smooth transition away from silver. As a result, 1965 quarters are extremely common in circulation and have little numismatic value in average circulated condition. Since all 1965 quarters lack mint marks and were made using the same composition, identifying a special variety or rarity within this date is challenging, though not impossible. Most 1965 quarters in circulation today show signs of wear, including loss of luster, scratches, or dull surfaces, however. Well-preserved examples in mint state condition, or from sealed mint sets, may still attract collector interest. Special variety. Of the most intriguing aspects of the 1965 quarter is the potential for transitional errors. Because 1964 quarters were still being struck with 90% silver and 1965 quarters were clad, the transition period created an opportunity for mistakes. A few extremely rare 1965 quarters struck on leftover 90% silver planchets from 1964 have been discovered. These are considered major numismatic rarities, and when authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, such silver 1965 quarters can sell for thousands of dollars depending on condition. Similarly, collectors have identified rare double die errors, off-center strikes, and other anomalies that add significant value. However, most 1965 quarters are of standard clad composition and have modest value unless they are in pristine condition. Proof quarters were not produced for circulation in 1965. The U.S. Mint suspended proof sets from 1965 through 1967, placing them with special mint sets that were produced with higher than normal quality, but not the same as formal proof. Coin's current value and collectibility in the numismatic market today. A regular 1965 clad quarter in circulated condition is typically worth 25 cents, its face value. Uncirculated coins in MS63 to MS66 condition may sell for $1 to $5 depending on the grade and seller. Exceptionally well-struck examples, or those graded MS67 and above by reputable services, can be worth $50 or more, especially if they show strong luster and few marks. Error coins or transitional silver strikes from 1965 can be worth hundreds to thousands of dollars if authenticated. The challenge lies in distinguishing such rarities from common coins, which is why professional grading and certification are crucial for serious collectors. It's also worth noting that due to their historical significance as the first clad quarters, some collectors seek to complete clad era sets starting with 1965, making this coin foundational for modern quarter collections. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.